In this section, we're going to be building a clone of Twitter, hugely popular social app where you can follow people and read everything they care to share with the world. As part of my aim to get you increasingly independent as an app developer, I'm just going to show you once the app that we're going to build, and then I'm going to wish you good luck as you do your best to build as much of it as you can. As always though, if you have any problems, I'll lead you through it, and you're very welcome to just follow along with the videos if you'd rather. So here's what we're building. It's a fairly familiar login screen, but you can see we've just got a single sign up login button, which is a slightly different way of allowing users to log in. Essentially what's going to happen is when a user signs up or logs in, it will attempt to log them in, and if it's successful, it will log them in, and if not, then it will attempt to sign them up. So it's not necessarily a great way of doing a login system, because if someone mistypes their username, then it will just sign them up with a new username rather than telling them that they've got something wrong. But it might work for certain apps, and it's a slight change from what we've done before. So that's how I'm going to do my login for this app. And then once we log in, you can see we've got a user list here. So these are all the users on the app that are not my user. And crucially, we can select and deselect users here, and our parse server will keep track of which ones are ticked so that we know who our current user is following. And then we've got our menu here. So we've obviously got a logout button there, fairly straightforward, but we've got a tweet button as well, which will open an alert dialog here and allow the user to send a tweet. So something fairly mundane like hello there, and then press send, and then it will save that on the parse server and tell the user that the tweet has sent. And then our final part of the app is when the user wants to view their feed, they can view the tweets of people that they are following. And those tweets are displayed in date order. And you can see we're using a slightly different structure for the list view there. And I'll give you a hint, you'll need to use something called a simple adapter rather than an array adapter to get your data to display like that. But I'm sure you can figure that out with a little bit of Googling. Time now to pause the video and create this Twitter app. Best of luck, go for it. So one of the purposes of these final couple of apps is to show you how quick and easy it is to create a relatively complicated app with parse server and the skills that you've learned so far in Android Studio. So we'll jump over to EC2, launch instance, and then AWS Marketplace, parse server powered by Bitnami, choose the T2 Micro, review and launch, and then launch. I'm going to create a new key pair called Twitter key pair. Save that, and then launch instance. Okay, and we're good to go. And while that's setting up, I'll go to androiddevcourse.com/parseproject.zip. And I would recommend downloading a new version of this each time because it does get updated fairly often. So each time you create a new parse server project, just download another copy of the parse project. And then when that's downloaded, we can jump over to Android Studio and file open. And actually, I'll just quickly rename the folder parse server starter project to Twitter. And then we'll find it on the desktop. There we go. And open that up. And then back over to Firefox to log into our parse server instance. So click connect, choose a Java SSH client, and then put in the key path. We've done this a few times now, so it should be fairly familiar. Users Rob Percival, desktop, and then Twitter keypair.pem. We'll store that in the browser cache so we don't have to type it in next time, and then launch SSH client. And here we go. So we're going to change directory to apps/pass/htdocs. And then we're going to use VI to launch the Vim text editor, and we're going to edit server.js. There we go. So now we've got our app ID, master key, and server URL. Let's start with the server URL. And I'll also quickly jump over into Firefox and load the Pass dashboard. Okay, and then back over to Android Studio, and let's find our starter application. There we go. So we'll begin by pasting in our server. Make sure we don't forget the trailing slash at the end there. Get the master key and paste it in for the client key, and then the app ID. And there we go. So we'll run the app in the background to make sure we're connected to Pass and everything's working okay. And a quick change I'm going to make is just disabling the automatic user there, because we're not going to be using that here. We're going to have a proper login system. And there we go. So Pass result was successful, so we're looking promising. Let's do a quick refresh of the Pass dashboard and make sure that everything is synchronized. And there we go. So we've got our example object with the string and number. Perfect. So now we're going to build our login page. So let's zoom in, and we'll start with a plain text field, which I'll make full width. Get rid of the text, but we will have a hint which I'll call username, and we'll call this username edit text. Okay, then we'll choose a password edit text to go underneath it. Which will have a hint of password, and we'll call password edit text. All right, and then we'll have a button. And we're just going to have a single button for sign up and login. And we'll see how that works in a minute. Just make sure it's centered. There we go. And then the final thing we need to do here is to give that an on click, and I'll call it sign up login. All right. So now back over to main activity. I'm going to update the title first off. So I'll use set title and I'll call it Twitter login. And then we'll create the method for signing up and logging in, which will be called by the button view. And this time, I'm just going to attempt the login straight away. So we'll get the edit text first off. So start with username edit text. This is going to be an edit text from find view by ID. resources.id.username edit text. Same for password. again, an edit text. Find it by its ID, r.id.password edit text. And then we're going to attempt the login first of all. So we're going to use pass user.login in background. And the username is going to be username edit text dot get text dot toString. And the password is going to be password edit text dot get text dot toString. And then we'll have a callback, which will be a new login callback. Okay, then we'll check to see if E is null. Then we'll just log that we're logged in. Else, we'll attempt to sign the user up. So to do that, we'll need to create a new user. So pass user, it's going to be a new pass user. And then we'll set the username to be username edit text dot get text dot toString. And then password is password edit text dot get text dot toString. And then we'll take our pass user and sign them up in the background with a new sign up callback. And again, we'll check if E is null. Then we'll log info signed up. Else, we'll display an error message to the user, so a toast. And the message, we'll just use the pass message, so that's e dot get message. All right, so let's take a look. Note that this isn't necessarily the best way to set up a sign up or login screen. It's very quick and easy, but it does have the downside that if the user tries to log in but mistypes their username, then instead of giving them an error message, it will try and create a new account for them with the new username, which might not be what they want to do. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this method for production apps, but it is quite a nice simple one and worth being aware of. Okay, so here we go. So username and password. Oh, I forgot to change the password to full width. So we'll just change that. But for now, let's do a test. So we'll have Rob, password of 1234, sign up /login. So it should sign that user up. There we go, signed up. And then if I do it again, it should log the user in. Wonderful. Let's just have a quick look and see what error messages we get if we don't enter a password. You can see there we did get a friendly error message, password cannot be missing or blank, but it has that nasty Java lang, etc. before it, which we don't really want. So one way to get rid of that is to split up the message by a space. And we want essentially everything after the first space. And we can do that with what's known as a substring. So if we get e.getMessage, and then we'll use a substring, which allows us to start at a certain point in the string. And we want to start just after that first space. So we need to know where that first space is. And we can do that using e.getMessage index of, and then we want to get the index of the space. So let's have a quick look at that. And here we go. So if I try and sign up or log in with a blank username and password, there we go. We get a nice message now. And the password is full width as well. It's a little bit of a boring screen. I think I'm going to quickly add in the Twitter logo just to brighten it up a little bit. So we'll go to Google Images, Twitter logo. There we go. That one will work perfectly, and it's a good size as well. So I'm going to control click, save image as, and then I'll rename it just Twitter logo. There we go. Over to Finder or Windows Explorer in Windows, copy Twitter logo with Command or Control C, and then back over to Android Studio, into the drawable folder, and paste. There we go. Oh, I've still got a leftover Instagram logo there. I'll delete that. Okay, and then we'll just move everything down a little bit by bringing in our image. There we go. And there's my Twitter logo. Superb. I'll just give that a fixed height. So maybe 100 dps. Lovely. And then I'll change the first edit text so that it aligns to the image view rather than the top of the screen. So I'll use Android layout below, and we haven't set an ID for that one yet, so let's quickly do that. Oh, it's image view. There we go, and that should move everything down after I get rid of align parent top. Lovely. Let's just reduce the top margin a bit for that username. There we go. So I'm happy with that. That looks like a perfectly nice login screen. Great, so that's a very quick login and sign up screen for our Twitter app. Now we're going to go on and allow users to view the other users that are on the platform and follow or unfollow them. We'll do that in the next video.